The Wall Street Journal is a business-focused, English-language international daily newspaper based in New York City. The Journal is published 6 days a week by Dow Jones & Company, a division of News Corp, along with its Asian and European editions. The Wall Street Journal is the largest newspaper in the United States by circulation. According to the Alliance for Audited Media, the Journal had a circulation of about 2.4 million copies, as of March 2013, compared with USA Today's 1.7 million. The Wall Street Journal has won 39 Pulitzer Prizes through 2015 and derives its name from Wall Street in the heart of the financial district of Lower Manhattan. The Journal has been printed continuously since its inception on July 8, 1889, by Charles Dow, Edward Jones, and Charles Bergstresser. History. Beginnings. The first products of Dow Jones & Company, the publisher of the Journal, were brief news bulletins hand-delivered throughout the day to traders at the stock exchange in the early 1880s. They were later aggregated in a printed daily summary called the Customer's Afternoon Letter. Reporters Charles Dow, Edward Jones, and Charles Bergstresser converted this into the Wall Street Journal, which was published for the first time on July 8, 1889, and began delivery of the Dow Jones News Service via telegraph. In 1896, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was officially launched. It was the first of several indices of stock and bond prices on the New York Stock Exchange. In 1899, the Journal's Review and Outlook column, which still runs today, appeared for the first time. Initially written by Charles Dow, journalist Clarence Barron purchased control of the company for $130,000 in 1902. Circulation was then around 7,000 but climbed to 50,000 by the end of the 1920s. Barron and his predecessors were credited with creating an atmosphere of fearless, independent financial reporting, a novelty in the early days of business journalism. In 1921, Barron's, America's premier financial weekly, was founded. Barron died in 1928, a year before Black Tuesday, the stock market crash that greatly affected the Great Depression in the United States. Barron's descendants, the Bancroft family, would continue to control the company until 2007. The Journal took its modern shape and prominence in the 1940s, a time of industrial expansion for the United States and its financial institutions in New York. Bernard Kilgore was named managing editor of the paper in 1941, and company CEO in 1945, eventually compiling a 25-year career as the head of the Journal. Kilgore was the architect of the paper's iconic front-page design, with its What News Digest, and its national distribution strategy, which brought the paper's circulation from 33,000 in 1941 to 1.1 million at the time of Kilgore's death in 1967. Under Kilgore, in 1947, that the paper won its first Pulitzer Prize, for William Henry Grimes's editorials. In 1967, Dow Jones Newswires began a major expansion outside of the United States that ultimately put journalists in every major financial center in Europe, Asia, Latin America, Australia, and Africa. In 1970, Dow Jones bought the Ottaway newspaper chain, which at the time comprised 9 dailies and 3 Sunday newspapers. Later, the name was changed to Dow Jones Local Media Group. 1971 to 1997 brought about a series of launches, acquisitions, and joint ventures, including Factiva, the Wall Street Journal Asia, the Wall Street Journal Europe, the WSJ.com website, Dow Jones Indexes, MarketWatch, and WSJ Weekend Edition. In 2007, News Corp acquired Dow Jones. WSJ, a luxury lifestyle magazine, was launched in 2008. Internet expansion. A complement to the print newspaper, the Wall Street Journal Online, was launched in 1996. In 2003, Dow Jones began to integrate reporting of the journal's print and online subscribers together in Audit Bureau of Circulation's statements. In 2007, it was commonly believed to be the largest paid subscription news site on the web, with 980,000 paid subscribers. Since then, online subscribership has fallen, due in part to rising subscription costs, and was reported at 400,000 in March 2010. In May 2008, an annual subscription to the online edition of the Wall Street Journal cost $119 for those who do not have subscriptions to the print edition. By June 2013, the monthly cost for a subscription to the online edition was $22.99, or $275.88 annually, excluding introductory offers. On November 30, 2004, Oasis Mobile and the Wall Street Journal released an application that would allow users to access content from the Wall Street Journal online via their mobile phone. It will provide up-to-the-minute business and financial news from the online journal, along with comprehensive market, stock and commodities data, plus personalized portfolio information, directly to a cell phone. Many of the Wall Street Journal news stories are available through free online newspapers that subscribe to the Dow Jones Syndicate. Pulitzer Prize-winning stories from 1995 are available free on the Pulitzer website. In September 2005, the journal launched a weekend edition, delivered to all subscribers, which marked a return to Saturday publication after a lapse of some 50 years. The move was designed in part to attract more consumer advertising. In 2005, the journal reported a readership profile of about 60% top management, an average income of $191,000, an average household net worth of $2.1 million, and an average age of 55. In 2007, the journal launched a worldwide expansion of its website to include major foreign language editions. The paper had also shown an interest in buying the rival Financial Times. Design changes. The nameplate is unique in having a period at the end. In 2006, the journal began including advertising on its front page for the first time. This followed the introduction of front-page advertising on the journal's European and Asian editions in late 2005. After presenting nearly identical front-page layouts for half a century, always 6 columns, with the day's top stories in the first and sixth columns, What News Digest in the second and third, The Ahead feature story in the fourth, and themed weekly reports in the fifth column. The paper in 2007 decreased its broadsheet width from 15 to 12 inches while keeping the length at 223/4 inches. To save newsprint costs, news design consultant Mario Garcia collaborated on the changes. Dow Jones said it would save $18 million a year in newsprint costs across all the Wall Street Journal papers. This move eliminated one column of print, pushing the Ahead out of its traditional location. The paper still uses ink dot drawings called headcuts, introduced in 1979 and originally created by Kevin Sprouls, in addition to photographs, a method of illustration considered a consistent visual signature of the paper. The journal still heavily employs the use of caricatures, notably those of Ken Fallon, such as when Peggy Noonan memorialized recently deceased newsman Tim Russert. The use of color photographs and graphics has become increasingly common in recent years with the addition of more lifestyle sections. The Daily was awarded by the Society for News Design World's Best Designed Newspaper Award for 1994 and 1997. News Corporation and News Corp. On May 2, 2007, News Corporation made an unsolicited takeover bid for Dow Jones, offering $60 a share for stock that had been selling for $33 a share. The Bancroft family, which controlled more than 60% of the voting stock, at first rejected the offer, but later reconsidered its position. 3 months later, on August 1, 2007, News Corporation and Dow Jones entered into a definitive merger agreement. The $5 billion sale added the Wall Street Journal to Rupert Murdoch's news empire, which already included Fox News Channel, financial network unit in London's The Times, and locally within New York, The New York Post, along with Fox flagship station WNYW and My Network TV flagship WWOR. On December 13, 2007, shareholders representing more than 60% of Dow Jones's voting stock approved the company's acquisition by News Corporation. In an editorial page column, publisher L. Gordon Krovitz said the Bancrofts and News Corporation had agreed that the Journal's news and opinion sections would preserve their editorial independence from their new corporate parent. A special committee was established to oversee the Journal's editorial integrity. When the managing editor Marcus Brockler resigned on April 22, 2008, the committee said that News Corporation had violated its agreement by not notifying the committee earlier. However, Brockler said he believed that new owners should appoint their own editor. A 2007 Journal article quoted charges that Murdoch had made and broken similar promises in the past. One large shareholder commented that Murdoch has long expressed his personal, political and business biases through his newspapers and television stations. Former Times assistant editor Fred Emery remembers an incident when Mr. Murdoch called him into his office in March 1982 and said he was considering firing Times editor Harold Evans. Mr. Emery says he reminded Mr. Murdoch of his promise that editors couldn't be fired without the independent director's approval. "God, you don't take all that seriously, do you?" Mr. Murdoch answered. According to Mr. Emery, Murdoch eventually forced out Evans. In 2011, The Guardian found evidence that the Journal had artificially inflated its European sales numbers by paying Executive Learning Partnership for purchasing 16% of European sales. These inflated sales numbers then enabled the Journal to charge similarly inflated advertising rates, as the advertisers would think that they reached more readers than they actually did. In addition, the Journal agreed to run articles featuring Executive Learning Partnership, presented as news, but effectively advertising. As a result, the then Wall Street Journal Europe CEO and publisher Andrew Langhoff was fired after it was found out he personally pressured journalists into covering one of the newspaper's business partners involved in the issue. Since September 2011, all the online articles that resulted from the ethical wrongdoing carry a Wall Street Journal disclaimer informing the readers about the circumstances in which they were created. The Journal, along with its parent Dow Jones and Company, was among the businesses News Corporation spun off in 2013 as the new News Corp. Features. Since 1980, the Journal has been published in multiple sections. At one time, the Journal's page count averaged as much as 96 pages an issue, but with the industry-wide decline in advertising, the Journal in 2009-10 more typically published about 50 to 60 pages per issue. Regularly scheduled sections are Section 1, Everyday, Corporate News, as well as Political and Economic Reporting, and the Opinion pages. Marketplace, Monday through Friday, coverage of health, technology, media, and marketing industries. Money and Investing, Everyday, covers and analyzes international financial markets. Personal Journal, published Tuesday through Thursday, covers personal investments, careers and cultural pursuits. Off-Duty, published Saturdays in WSJ Weekend, focuses on fashion, food, design, travel and gear, tech. The section was launched September 25, 2010. Review, published Saturdays in WSJ Weekend, focuses on essays, commentary, reviews and ideas. The section was launched September 25, 2010. Mansion, published Fridays, focuses on high-end real estate. The section was launched October 5, 2012. WSJ Magazine, launched in 2008 as a quarterly, this luxury magazine supplement distributed within the US, European and Asian editions of the Wall Street Journal grew to 12 issues per year in 2014. In addition, several columnists contribute regular features to the journal opinion page and opinionjournal.com. Daily, Best of the Web Today by James Taranto. Monday, Americas by Mary O'Grady. Tuesday, Global View by Brett Stevens. Wednesday, Business World by Holman W. Jenkins, Jr. Thursday, Wonderland by Daniel Henninger. Friday, Potomac Watch by Kimberly Strassel. Weekend edition, Rule of Law, The Weekend Interview, Declarations by Peggy Noonan. WSJ. WSJ is the Wall Street Journal's luxury lifestyle magazine. Its coverage spans art, fashion, entertainment, design, food, architecture, travel and more. Christina O'Neill is editor-in-chief and Anthony Sename is publisher. Launched as a quarterly in 2008, the magazine grew to 12 issues a year for 2014. The magazine is distributed within the U.S. weekend edition of the Wall Street Journal newspaper, the European and Asian editions, and is available on WSJ.com. Each issue is also available throughout the month in the Wall Street Journal's iPad app. Penelope Cruz, Carmelo Anthony, Woody Allen, Scarlett Johansson, Emilia Clarke, Daft Punk, and Gisele Bündchen have all been featured on the cover. In 2012, the magazine launched its signature platform, the Innovator Awards, an extension of the November Innovators issue. The awards ceremony, held in New York City at Museum of Modern Art, honors visionaries across the fields of design, fashion, architecture, humanitarianism, art and technology. The 2013 winners were Alice Waters, Daft Punk, David DJ, Du Hozu, Nick DeLuisio, Pat McGrath, Thomas Waltz. In 2013, Adweek awarded WSJ Hottest Lifestyle Magazine of the Year for its annual Hot List. U.S. circulation. Each issue of WSJ is inserted into the weekend edition of the Wall Street Journal, whose average paid circulation for the 3 months ending September 30, 2013 was 2,261,772 as reported to the Alliance for Audited Media Operations. The Wall Street Journal has a global news staff of more than 2,000 journalists in 85 news bureaus across 51 countries. It has 26 printing plants. Recent milestones. WSJ Live became available on mobile units, including iPad, in September 2011. WSJ Weekend, the weekend newspaper, expanded September 2010, with 2 new sections, Off-Duty and Review. Greater New York, a standalone, full-color section dedicated to the New York metro area, launched April 2010. The Wall Street Journal's San Francisco Bay Area edition, which focuses on local news and events, launched on November 2009, appearing locally each Thursday in the print journal and every day online at wsj.com/sf. WSJ Weekend, formerly called Saturday's Weekend Edition. September 2005. Launch of Today's Journal, which included both the addition of personal journal and color capacity to the journal. April 2002. Friday Journal, formerly called First Weekend Journal. March 20, 1998. WSJ.com launched in April 1996. First 3-section journal. October 1988. First 2-section journal. June 1980.